Let's talk about the history of NLP for life coaches. In the early 70s, a 20-year-old psychology student at the University of California, Santa Cruz, Richard Bandler, met and befriended an associate professor of linguistics while he was studying, John Grinder. Bandler had originally majored in mathematics and computer science, but had switched when the field of behavioural sciences piqued his interest. Hence why NLP is usually said to have been created by a linguist and a computer programmer. Bandler had become particularly interested in the work of therapists Virgina Satir and Fritz Perls, and began to run various workshops and study groups around the subject of gestalt therapy. Soon Bandler and Grinder began to work together to develop a behavioural syntax for gestalt therapy, i.e. what skills and techniques would help a person overcome a problem. Adopting an approach of if it works, use it, if it doesn't work, try something else, they analysed the writings and tape recordings to discover the roots of what allowed Satir and Perls to produce such remarkable results. Ideas, insights and techniques were tried out on friends, including Slater Mouth author Robert Dilts, Judith Delosier, Leslie Cameron, Bandler and David Gordon, who soon joined them in developing and extending their work. The enthusiastic and highly creative group grew, and this was how NLP developed. Out of this search came many of the techniques and methods that are still part of good neuro-linguistic programming and the NLP Master Practitioner programs that we see today. Techniques such as anchoring, sensory acuity, calibration, reframing, representational systems, and personal techniques such as change personal history. It became evident that highly effective communicators seemed almost able to create therapeutic magic by their adept use of language. The language patterns that emerged from this work became the meta model, which was published in the first NLP book, The Structure of Magic, published in 1975. Through a friend of Bandler's, they got to know the British anthropologist, social scientist, linguist and cyberneticist Gregory Bateson, who suggested that their study should include the work of Milton H. Erickson, an American psychiatrist specialising in medical hypnosis and family therapy. Bandler and Grinder modelled Erickson and the ways that he used metaphor and stories to induce trance and help people remove lifelong phobias and overcome the effects of trauma. Their studies led to the creation of the second NLP language model, the Milton model, which described mechanisms for influencing people by the use of particular language patterns. The development of the Milton model gave rise to a number of publications, including Patterns of the Hypnotic Techniques of Milton H. Erickson, Volume 1, and later in 1977, Volume 2. Bandler and Grinder continued to run various NLP workshops. Other members of the group began to experiment with the application of NLP in other fields. Robert Dilts used NLP in the general area of health. David Gordon developed metaphor as a specific and teachable technique and language skill, and Tad James developed the use of timeline therapy. Tapes of a number of these workshops were transcribed by John Stevens, better known as Steve Andreas, and were then edited and published as one of the most popular NLP books to date, with over 350 copies sold worldwide, Frogs in Apprentices. This particular work was aimed at therapists and challenged the myths that theory had to be long, painful experience in order to be effective. Frogs in Apprentices backed this up and challenged by providing many practical alternatives that could achieve change more quickly and easily than had previously been considered possible. From these beginnings, NLP continues to grow and evolve, grow and diversify almost organically, and is now practiced in almost every country in the world. It's used in the field of sales to coaching, from therapy to presentation and management skills. The reach and diversity of ways NLP is used by its practitioners is almost as diverse as the tool set found within it. Almost.